Xander Ingallinera from Troop 657 in Cary, Illinois was one of the first scouts to complete a 100% digitally delivered Eagle project in the Black Hawk Area Council. You might be asking yourself, what is a digitally delivered project and what does that look like? Well, we're glad you asked because that is what we would like to show you. The first part of this type of project was finding the need. With Xander's project, he met with and spoke to many different organizations about their needs, and when he had the chance to speak with Mark Kounick, the mayor of Xander's hometown of Cary, Mayor Kounick explained how the Village of Cary needed to get the word out about a major problem they were having with flushable wipes. He asked Xander if he would be able to create a digital public service announcement in the form of a social media ready video educating the residents of Cary about the negative consequences of flushing flushable wipes. At that moment, Xander's Eagle project was born. Just like with every Eagle Scout project, Xander needed to get approvals from his troop and from his area council. Here is what he presented to both.
Hello, my name is Xander Ingallinera. We have a major problem in the Village of Cary, which many people don't know about and are part of the problem. Please allow me to do a demonstration. I have 2 jars full of water. Water that represents water from your toilet. This first one, I'm going to put an ordinary piece of toilet paper. I'm going to close it and shake it, which is going to simulate a flush from your toilet. As you can see, when shaken, the toilet paper completely breaks down. Now, I'm going to do the same demonstration, but this time I'm going to take a flushable wipe. Goes in the jar. And when flushed, it stays intact, unlike the toilet paper. This has become a major problem for both homeowners in our village and in the water treatment facility in the Village of Cary. For homeowners, because these flushable wipes, on average, take over 10 days to start to break down. They get stuck in the plumbing of our homes or clog septic tanks, leading to very expensive repairs. For the Village of Cary, and once again because it takes over 10 days for flushable wipes to start breaking down, if they make it out of the plumbing, these wipes are currently causing blockages in the main lines or of sewers and even inside the water treatment facility itself. As a result, the Village of Cary must dispatch crews to unclog the blocked lines and on a daily basis remove these wipes from catch grates, which are submerged in human waste water. I've seen it myself, and this is not a fun job. In addition to all of that, blockages caused by flushable wipes is just one of many problems. There are also environmental and governmental regulation problems for the treatment facility associated with these wipes as well. So now that you have an idea of this problem, I'm going to share this problem and the solution with the rest of the residents of Cary and other communities in the form of a social media public service announcement and educational video. My team and I will create a 60-second digital public service announcement video highlighting the issue and encouraging our residents not to flush flushable wipes down the toilet. If people are interested in learning more about why and what I shared with you today, a web link will be made available so they can watch an extended version of the PSA, which will be in the form of a digital educational video. The social media platforms that will be used to deploy this PSA and educational video are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Now for the how. As it is featured in my Eagle Scout project workbook, I will first secure my volunteers for the production team. Next, I will finalize my project plan and get it approved from the Village of Cary, the beneficiary. Then, I will set up a day to tour the treatment plant with my production team. Then I will hold meetings with my team to gather ideas on what the PSA and educational video content should contain and look like. Then we will take the best of those ideas and create a video storyboards for the PSA and educational video. We will then present these storyboards to the Village of Cary to gather their feedback and approval. Next, we will record video scenes consistent with the storyboard, and then move into the editing process. This is where all the chosen video segments will be pieced together to present a cohesive message for both the PSA and educational video. Versions of the PSA and educational video will be sent to the Village of Cary for review, feedback, and approval. After the PSA and educational video are approved, we will deliver the final products to the Village of Cary and assist them with delivering the PSA and educational video using the social media platforms already mentioned.
With every type of Eagle project, a Scouts project team is very important. Xander was very deliberate with who he recruited to help him with his project. He needed to find fellow Scouts and friends and adults who were familiar with digital video technology, comfortable in front of the video camera, and people who are creative. Xander was very fortunate to find peers and adults who had all those talents and more. Here is a sample of the beginning of the creative process.
Mr. I briefly touched on how we're going to be recording all of our meetings and everything. That's per the request of my troop committee. Is when I presented it to them, they requested that they fill them in on how this project is going to work, because they actually have no idea how what this is going to look like. So they wanted insight on what it will look like for future Scouts that might work on this. Okay. So this is like the brief channel introduction, which the troop committee, I'm pretty sure, has already seen, and it basically just briefly illustrates what the project will be about. Okay. I've created this YouTube channel to do exclusive. Okay, so there will be an extra video for the YouTube channel that I just showed you guys for the future Scouts and Scout leaders who are curious about how this project actually got put together. Yep, YouTube. Okay. So, if you guys go to the other part of the packet, this outlines a rough schedule of what days we will be meeting, and like a timeline of who will need to participate and what we'll be doing on each day.
But why is there a private review?
Should we interview? Cut to a homeowner interview?
Yeah.
Be like, paid. No.
Like, they cut up my grass. Inconvenience is also a really big factor. Nobody likes the inconvenience.
I mean, your front yard was dug up. I mean, and I think that's at the point we're probably going to be pressed for time. So we could probably be like this is probably like the wrap up part at this point, right? So
Yeah.
Cut back, and then you hand me a roll of toilet paper and say, use this instead.
Now give me $10,000.
that actually would be an amazing outro. Like, just be like, use this instead. $10,000, please.
Yeah. And
Well-
on a funny note, but also that's pretty awesome.
When creating a video, it's very important to convey your storytelling vision before you start to record anything. The best way to do this is by creating storyboards of each video scene so the team and the beneficiary can see what story will be told. Collectively, Xander's team created a series of storyboards, scripts, and presented them to the Village of Cary for approval.
I'm being a leader. Good job gluing. I like how you centered that.
Hey there. Sorry, I was on the phone. Passing the torch.
So my team and I, we sat down and gathered a ton of ideas and decided to take more of an infomercial type of approach to the public service announcement in order to make it as effective as possible. So allowing the consumers and our target audience to be able to relate and actually want to change instead of just blowing it off and like a lot of other advertisements. So I think it'll be easier if I bring it closer. So each of these pictures represent a scene, and the 60-second video would start off with like a middle-aged mom coming through just an average home with a bag of groceries with highlighted flushable wipes, and it'll cut to sorry, you would hear her kids from up the stairs complaining that the toilet can't flush, and it'll cut to her struggling to flush the toilet, and then a plumber is able to, it shows up at her door with the doorbell ringing, and he says something along the lines of, "You've been using flushable wipes, haven't you? And you know those wipes clog your pipes." And then we get into more of an educational section of the video. So it'll cut to clips from an interview with either one of you or somebody that can talk about the work that you guys do here and how much of an issue it is causing. So explaining the problems that the flushable wipes really cause here, and then it would include the grates that all of the wipes get caught on to really highlight and demonstrate the issue, and then it would also interview like a homeowner and who's like had struggles with it, who's maybe had work done because their pipes been clogged, to allow the audience to really relate to this person, and then it'll show the like a side-by-side time lapse of toilet paper versus flushable wipes, and the difference and how it really doesn't break down, which can help people understand why it can be such a big issue. And then closing out the video, the plumber will bring toilet paper for the lady and take away the flushable wipes from her grocery bag and suggest her to use toilet paper instead of flushable wipes. And then it'll end with him walking away with a movie reference of the Breakfast Club, with this whole thing from walking away. So I'm curious and ready for any inputs or feedback you guys might have whenever it leads to this.
The only thing I noticed, I mean, the message is good, but I think as we talked when you were out visiting they say flushable, and
Mhm.
they are flushable, but the whole key is they're non-biodegradable.
Okay.
You know, if you could work that somewhere in your,
Okay.
Xander's project required 2 different video shoot locations, the Village of Cary water treatment facility and a typical home in Cary. Xander set up a day in March of 2023, and he and his production team recorded a tour of the water treatment facility. Shortly after that, Xander's team recorded the storyboard scenes that were approved by the Village of Cary.
But yeah, if you have any questions regarding the how the plant works or anything, just feel free to speak up and ask. That's because we can use it in the project if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You actually start it? Or?
Yeah, just.
Oh, I saw you on the music. You guys are great.
I did. I'm sure this one has.
I heard the second show was
Good, how are you?
So, for the most part, did you see my email about the questions?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So those are some prepared questions that we'll probably be asking throughout the tour. Basically, what we're looking to shoot is just mainly the tour, because that's what will give us the most information about what you guys do here and the effects that this problem might have. So could you do the what?
Yeah, we want to start like we did the other one, just drive down
Okay.
to where
Yeah.
most of the stuff comes in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had them not clean screens and stuff, so since this morning, so it's gonna have some buildup. It's nasty.
Cool.
No fun to look at. All we do is leak stomach, yeah, but to see what we accumulate. So yeah, the guys are ready for you. I was gonna have Matt. I think I sent him the question. You have the questions.
Yes.
Yeah, I just sent him the email. I know he reviewed it to have some thoughts. So yeah, I was gonna have them do the tour.
Already.
Is there a way you can demonstrate cleaning a screen?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, that would be really cool. If we can get that.
Yeah, okay. You tell me if you think that after you see somebody.
All right.
Yeah, it is a wastewater treatment plant, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we hop in our vehicles, we'll go through the gate, we'll
Yeah.
regroup down there, and then you can start to do whatever you want to do from that point out.
Does it smell bad?
Yes.
You'll see. Or smell.
Oh, really? Really? Okay. Yeah, I know Mark. Yeah, we called him Billy. For some reason, they have nickname of Billy. I don't even know why.
Good afternoon. So we are shooting. Don't be alarmed if the camera. So we do have two microphones on the camera. So in order to pick up what you guys are talking, we will need to be like around this range. So don't be alarmed. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So don't be alarmed if he's in your face. Just open. Right. Awesome.
Commercial comes together and flows into the structure here. It's actually coming in through this way from a pipeline right there, 32-inch sewer line that comes in. This is our homemade bar screen here. A very coarse screen that we manufacture trying to catch some of the whites.
You want to step over here and get a much better view of it. Everybody did a great job of that.
This has to get raked a couple times a day. Continues on this way. now we've had grit removal.
I mean, the main part of the scene is gonna be from out there. This is just a transition.
Just like turn
She
around.
said,
You
like,
want me to
as I'm-
cheat out and be like,
Yeah, like you like stand like this and be like,
Hey.
thank you, like
how am I gonna
sideways.
do that?
And then you, no, and then you, well, and then you can turn around and she's like closing the door. But like while she's.
Well, I think she should say like as
So
when
what
I'm
do
out
you
there
say?
walking.
What do you
I'm
say?
saying thanks for the help, so I have to be there.
That's
Like,
it?
what?
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
That's thanks for the help.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's
When
her
does
part.
she say it?
When you're leaving,
As she's closing the door.
be like,
Okay.
I'll be here. And I'll be
So
like,
you can
"Thanks
you
for
can
the
start
help."
you
Close
can.
door.
Well, hi.
Start like
You
mid-turn.
can yeah you can like be looking over your shoulder and be like mid-turn. Yeah, and then yeah.
Yeah, like that.
So she's saying when I'm outside.
Do I say
As
thanks
you're
for the help?
as you're closing the door, you're like thanks for your help, and then you close the door.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
Yeah.
And,
Like it's the pizza man.
and
Thanks to piece of
action.
Thanks for the help. Then you gotta-
Once all the video was captured from the water treatment facility and the home in Cary, the video clips were assembled and edited together using video editing software. This part of the project took the most time.
I don't think we're doing that. Just gonna yeah, we're going to that. Go to this one. Go this one. This one. It's either gonna be this one or this one, I think. Oh, this one. Out of curiosity, what is this one? Yeah, let's do this one. Okay. Whoa.
After the first version or cut of the video was completed, Xander and his team took some time to review and made a few editing alterations. Xander then sent the first video cut file to the Village of Cary for review and approval. The Village of Cary did not approve the first cut and requested that the PSA logo be added to the end of the video next to the Village of Cary logo. Xander's video editor made the change, and Xander then sent the second cut to the Village of Cary for review and approval. However, the Village of Cary did not approve the second cut, as they requested the song at the end to be changed due to a possible intellectual property violation. Xander and his team complied, found a similar royalty-free, no IP issue music track, and used it to replace the copywritten song. Once this last edit was made, Xander sent the third cut of the video to the Village of Cary, and they happily sent back an approval.
Why isn't it flushing? Mom, the toilet's not working again!
You've been using flushable wipes, haven't you? But you know those wipes are not biodegradable and clog pipes?
Explain, like, we do this twice a day.
every day, 7 days a week. This is a wipe right there.
Flushable wipes and other non-biodegradable products cause backups in the water treatment plants and pipe systems, which cost the village and homeowners thousands of dollars. As you can see, flushable wipes don't break down like toilet paper, which causes the clogs.
Don't flush wipes. They aren't biodegradable. Use toilet paper instead. Also, wipes aren't the only thing that clog pipes. Products like paper towels, diapers, hygiene products, cotton swabs, and more also aren't biodegradable and should never be flushed.
Thanks for the help.
Remember, despite what the package may say, never flush flushable wipes. Sincerely yours, the Village of Cary.
When Xander was first discussing the project scope with the Village of Cary, they requested an extended version of the PSA in the form of an educational video to show where many of the flushable wipes end up and what the Village of Cary needs to do to keep these wipes from destroying equipment and disrupting the water treatment process. Xander agreed, and not only did his team deliver a 60-second TV commercial type PSA, but also delivered an 18-minute and 30-second Dirty Jobs type episode.
Thanks for the help.
Remember, despite what the package may say, never flush flushable wipes. Sincerely yours, the Village of Cary.
My name is Xander, and I want to personally thank you for watching my PSA, No Wipes in the Pipes. When I reached out to the Village of Cary about their needs for a public service announcement, which I created for my Boy Scout Eagle project, they didn't waste any time sharing with me the problems they're having with flushable wipes. The entire team that maintains Cary's wastewater facility are remarkable people for their knowledge and work. They really opened my eyes to a problem that affects all of us financially and environmentally. To get a true perspective on what this problem really looks like with your own eyes, Cary's Wastewater Heroes opened the doors for an exclusive tour to show all of us what they battle every single day to keep our water and food sources safe and our environment clean. Here's what they showed us.
So if you don't mind me asking, what is the overall purpose of this place? What do you guys do here?
We treat the sewage for the village and make it so that it's of sufficient quality that we could discharge it into the Fox River without damaging the river and making it unusable for downstream users.
Okay.
Really, ultimately is what this is. We protect the environment. Yeah. And we do it quite well. We do above and beyond what the EPA requires us to do. Yeah, I mean, that's the primary purpose right there. Yeah. Otherwise, the river would be an ecological mess.
Yeah.
Because it's not just us discharging. You got Fox River Grove and all the other municipalities upstream. All the sewerage for the Village of Cary, from residential and commercial, comes together and it flows into this structure here. It's actually coming in through this way from a pipeline right there. It's a 32-inch sewer line that comes in. And it flows through our homemade bar screen here, which is a very coarse screen that we manufactured to try and catch some of the wipes.
If you want to step up here, you get a much better view of it. I'll put the great down there.
This has to get raked a couple times a day. This is just a small drop in the bucket of what we get in here.
Okay. How deep do you think that is?
I mean, you can't really tell, but the grade is a couple feet.
Okay. See that rush of water? All of that was blocked by rags. We refer to all these flushable wipes and anything else, but primarily the wipes is rags, just an umbrella term. That flow is measured in our system. So that flow is not as accurate as it needs to be as a steady flow until we pull these rags. The flow rate kind of gets jammed up for a little bit until we can pull these. So that's pretty far down grade.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how full this bucket gets when it's that wide and that deep. Yeah. About twice a day, primarily, we get to this, but as often as we can as well. Like Matt said earlier, we got a lot of other things to do, and these things are the primary cause of all of our headaches. So we got a picture of me elbow deep in a sludge pipe because of a ball about as long as this wall up in the basement of that building. Now you couldn't see those rags at first, right?
No.
Now you can. Now you can see where the flow is evening around and lowering. But that's just how much of a wall those rags were causing.
Yeah.
And they still go down deep, obviously. I just haven't grabbed those. So you can see how nice and steady the flow is now and not backed up.
Andrew's going to show you some of like how it gets hung up right over there. And you can see like these are like, it's a lot.
That's where it's the problem.
So eventually that'll break off and come down the floor.
That's where it's
See everything that gets on there? This is a wipe right there. So
Quite clearly every morning. That's it, get it, yeah. All right.
I'd say 99.9% of that is this rag. So, like the flushable wipe. Matt, what did you say estimate when we get the new equipment? How much we'll believe we'll be pulling out?
It could be from what we saw at the plant, I think it's like a 2-yard, 2.5-yard dumpster. 2-yard dumpster a day, possibly.
A day, a dumpster a day. Is what so that's, what you're seeing here is a small amount compared to that. So like, daily, we're not even collecting it all just yet. So like, it's more than what you're actually seeing is going through the system. You know? So that's the big thing about it. You know, it's like, it's got to go somewhere. You know, so like Matt had said, it goes to the sludge gets dried out, and then that gets put back onto land applications for food for livestock and animals. You know, that's where it's got to go. Otherwise, it gets ground up so small that it might go through to the river, which is downriver from us. There's other municipalities, towns, villages that uses the river water, and then they treat that to make it for drinking water. Because I think what you're flushing down is it might possibly be going to where someone's going to be using it for drinking water and other things like that.
So we saw a little bit of it back there, but what big problems do non-biodegradable products, wipes, and products in general cause for this facility?
For the facility here, it hangs up, like it can plug up. There's a pump in the basement of the grit building here. It quite often gets plugged up with those items, and we have to clean them out. We ended up having to get new pumps for our return station over there because they were getting plugged nearly every day.
Okay.
We had to get some expensive pumps that were capable of basically just passing through the regs. Not removing the problem, it's just dealing with the problem. So it can hang up on flights. We had balls of them get, when we had that snap freeze in December, whatever, we had some of the balls of them get frozen up, and when these flights ran, it broke a bunch of flights. So, and that gets into the thousands of dollars right there. Pumps clogging up all the time in the digester. The digester is going to have to get cleaned out again, and that runs into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's all just because of these wipes. This is called the primary clarifier. Here, anything that will settle as far as organic solids, human waste or whatever, the pipes just kicked on, will settle out. It's a lot of sludge in it, but you might be able to see there's a lot of wipes and rags mixed in with this, like some candy wrappers. But a lot of flights got broken here because of big balls of rags got frozen up down at the end here. You see some wipes there, and up in here. Basically big Archimedes screws. They lift the sewage up to a higher elevation. You can see the wipes, they get slung against the wall, so the wipes do make it this far into the system. Now we start getting into real treatment. Here, what you're looking at here, this brown is actually our biomass. This is what does the main treatment. We add a lot of air via blowers in that building there, and the bacteria start to eat the sewage and all the organic materials, all the good stuff. You see there's rags, they build up on there. Start to hang up on the probe, start dissolved oxygen, then they can wrap up over the probe, and then it gives SCADA some bad information that it can interfere with the processes there too. There's a pipeline running underground here, and it's going to head into those areas. It's a different style of basically what's happening here. It's the older tanks, and treatment will continue over there. More rags. We put these in just to try and help catch rags. Anywhere we can try and catch them, get them out of the system. This is where the rags really start to become a problem. You can see them clumped up on that probe right there. They happen there, they happen in the other probe. The rags actually stick together into ropes and agglomerate. You know, that's a $2,000 probe right there. It's got some rags hanging on it. You gotta keep scooping those off. They can break away and then go into the clarifiers and plug up the clarifiers, and then it becomes a real problem. If you want to go back out that way, guys, we'll go over to the clarifiers. Right now we're operating clarifier 1 and 2. Now you can see that's quite a large ball of rags right there. We call them rags, the wipes. They've now stitched themselves together into big wads. Eventually they'll break off and they enter into the clarifiers. In the clarifiers there's holes on our collection arms, and it plugs them up. That becomes a problem. So every day we come around, we have to flip these out. In here the flow becomes very still. The solids will settle out and go out the bottom back to the system. They go around again. That's how we do treatment. The clarified effluent over the top weirs will head out through disinfection and out to the Fox River. So this is basically second to the last step. Anything that makes, you see some rags right there, they've made it past the baffle. Beyond this point, there's no stopping it out to the Fox River. All dark in here. Don't be scared. You can see here more rags and wipes. They've made it pretty far into the system here. Everywhere you go, you gotta keep pulling them off. They don't break down.
How much money would you say like is spent on like trying to like take care of these like wipes or like?
I couldn't dollar amount. I'd leave that to John. I don't. But it's a matter of labor. I know a good portion of our time, because it's not just here. It's also in collections out in the system. There's lift stations and jetting of sewers that needs to get taken care of, and that's a different department with that. But collectively, it ends up being a lot of money. I know we spent $20,000 on new pumps. What did we spend to have the digesters cleaned out?
No, I think that was $275,000. We spend, I would call it, probably 2 man-hours a day.
Okay, yeah.
And the cost to the village for the 2 man-hours is probably a couple $100 a day to pay for the labor to have this stuff removed away from it now, just here. The equipment damage things like that. We get damage to equipment. It probably costs the village $25,000 a year minimum.
Before the wipes even get here, do they cause problems for homeowners?
Certainly, yeah. They plug up sewer lines, and it's been happening more and more in the village, and people end up getting sewage into their homes.
For homeowners, that costs money too, right? Like, how much would you say that costs to just get that removed?
The problem with the homeowners, when we're talking about these flushable wipes that are non-biodegradable, that we're, those will flush as we, but they don't break down, and they're very fibrous. And if they do make it through the toilet or down the drain, then they have to get out the homeowner's sewer line. And what we're seeing is an increase. Those are very fibrous, and they don't make it out to the village sewer. Maybe not. If they start to build up in there, that's when the homeowner starts to have a backup inside their home, and they'll have to have a plumber come out or rent the equipment, and you could be talking and rod that line out, and they're going to basically push all that material out into the village main. But on the homeowner, you get a plumber come out, I would imagine that a minimum, if they have a backup in their home, is a $500 just to have a plumber come out and then rodding. It could be, we've seen cases where they have to do excavations, and it could be thousands, but a minimum of $500 for this type of material getting caught in their own line. Then the same thing, if they get it out to our main, it can lay in our lines and get caught, and it builds up and causes backups, which can cause a backup into the homeowner, which is a mess. Now we average, I want to say, Cary has about 75 miles of sanitary collection main to bring all the waste here. We typically experience about, let's say, 75 backup calls a year that we respond to. For many years, there might have been out of that 75, 2 that were a mainline blockage that would cause us to do some sort of an effort with our equipment to clean that line out to reestablish the flow. Last year, we saw that increase where probably of the 75 calls, 35 of them were back up on the village main caused by what we call blockages in this case. Where it used to be a couple calls a year required our efforts. Now it's half of the calls we get, we're seeing a village mainline blockage. We're also seeing calls when homeowners have a problem, they typically call us first. We check our system, and then if it's not us, then they're the ones we're seeing those calls increase too.
It's just the calls that the village doesn't get. My parents live right up there in Brigadoon. Theirs backed up twice in 5 years because of that. Because of the homeowners prior to them that had little kids and used flushable wipes. My parents obviously don't have kids until they're 4 years old. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how many issues that aren't even yet occurring in houses that had previous owners with small children that use flushable wipes. Or anybody that uses flushable wipes. I use them to clean things, certain things too. I obviously don't use them down the toilet.
Even when it gets through, are there like microplastics or anything that can also cause environmental issues?
Sure.
Like down the line?
Sure.
Like for the future?
Well, those microplastics, we're just not going to be able to catch those. Anything, if you threw a plastic tooth pick down the toilet, and it happens, it gets broken up in the system in smaller and smaller pieces, and eventually that's going to make it out to the river. It's either going to end up in birds, fish, out to the oceans, who's to say. But yeah, it's getting out in the system. I know they've talked about microplastics getting, might be the next big thing. But the other thing is, when it gets to our sludge that we dry, that goes out to farm fields. So that's where most of it's probably going, is into the sludge. Then it's getting into feed for, livestock. And then it's getting into us.
As you've just seen for yourself, flushable wipes cost the Village of Cary hundreds of thousands of dollars. They can cost you thousands of dollars in home repairs, and the wipes you use do make it to the Fox River, where they continue to cause problems for animals and our human neighbors who actually use the river for drinking water. And you know what? All these problems related to flushable wipes are easily solved by doing one small thing. Dispose of your wipes in a trash can. Don't flush them down the toilet. I'm here at Lions Park along the beautiful Fox River, and this right here is what we need to protect. Believe me when I say, I like a clean bottom just like the next person. So you don't need to stop buying and using flushable wipes. I'm just saying, keep them out of our pipes. Thanks for watching.
After both Final Cut digital videos were delivered to the Village of Cary, Mayor Kaunick invited Xander to formally present his Eagle project in the final videos to the Village Board and the Village of Cary.
Today I will be giving a presentation on this project, but first and foremost, I would like to start off and say that it is an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to speak here today, and how much I enjoyed working with the Village of Cary Public Works staff, and my team, which consisted of Haley Weaver, Ryan Glowinski, Scotty Stark, and Xander Ingallinera, because none of this would be possible without them. Now, to get into my project. To give you guys some insight, I led a group of volunteers to create a social media-driven public service announcement for the Village of Cary about the damaging effects to household pipes in the Village of Cary's water treatment plant by disposing flushable wipes and other common household products down the toilet. I led these volunteers to work together to create a storyboard for the video that has been presented and approved by the Village of Cary. I guided a volunteer video crew through the production process in order to record educational and related content in order to achieve the goals of the project. And finally, I led a fellow scout through the revision and editing process. My Eagle project benefited the Village of Cary community and the Village Public Works by bringing awareness to this very expensive and dangerous problem through the use of digital media, social media, and humor. Our video locations include the wastewater treatment facility as well as my home. As I worked on my project, I made some observations. The video day with the village went extremely well. Everyone gave us wonderful insight and content that we were able to use in both the commercial PSA and extended educational video. Team meetings went well, and we all worked productively towards the goals of this project. Although, of course, I encountered a few challenges. To start, parts of the editing process were challenging, specifically when it came to trying to clear up messy audio. When we recorded, despite our microphone setup, there was wind and distracting background audio. My editor and I attempted to remove this, but only was successful in removing most of the background noise. Lastly, finding a substitute song for a song that ended up being copywritten without sacrificing the same energy of a specific scene. However, we were able to replace the copywritten song with a similar audio track, which was royalty-free. Finally, I would like to speak on my perspective of leadership, since leadership is a large part of an Eagle project. When I started to assemble a team of people, they all had a unique set of skills. I was able to lead this group of people and delegate tasks to each of them depending on the skills they had. For example, when we were making storyboards, Haley is extremely artistic, so she helped draw the visuals on the storyboard. Scotty and Ryan had been gifted with acting, voiceover, and great camera work, which was extremely valuable for this project. When it came to editing, Drew is very talented with editing software, and I let him do his thing while I gave my input when necessary. Every person on my team had an important role in completing this project, and all contributed in their own unique way to make this project what it is today. I had the privilege to bring them all together, guide them, and delegate tasks in order to form a finished project. Sometimes I'm asked, what is the most difficult part about being a leader? My response to this is taking a step back and trusting that people will do a great job. Sometimes it's hard to trust that everything will work out. The most rewarding part about being a leader is to see everything come together. It is amazing what people can achieve when everyone uses their own skill sets to contribute to a project. I found it extremely satisfying to trust someone with a task, feel nervous that it may not turn out great, then see the finished project and realize they did a better job than I could ever do. I learned that sometimes being a good leader often means having less control. The best ideas, moments, and products came when I gave up control and enabled a team member to shine with their talents. This is something that I learned about leadership that I did not expect. Now that everyone has a brief idea of what this project is all about, I would like to invite everyone to watch the final product of my project, a commercial-length public service announcement. Thank you and enjoy.